So yep, final episode. ايش دونالد ترامب جاي Macarena la para que no suprema. So last episode, at the very last minute, the Soviets, in a huge twist, declared war on both sides. Also, the Poles threw a bunch of nukes on Soviet papas, and now they're limited, and now they have just 10 nukes. And the Poles this time decided to go into a wide nuclear strategy, dropping the nukes not on Tashkent and on Soviet military supply bases in Odessa, here, and even dropping some on Polish land, specifically on Russian, specifically in the Carpathian Mountains here. Another nuke was dropped here in order to stop the Soviets doing anything. And even another nuke was dropped on the areas near Moscow, along with some German nuke aid. The Polish destroyed caused Russia to be nuked to oblivion, and the Russians respond, of course, with nukes. But this time they actually nuke Warsaw, Krakow, Bratislava. They also do nuke Berlin, Paris, and Berlin, Paris. And then Soviet nuke is sent to Tehran, Sukhumi, and Ankara. With these Soviet nuke developments, the Treaty of Ankara, the Treaty of Rome is signed. A few weeks later, where basically borders are just redefined, and they know that the Soviets are not going to give up with a fight, and they send a massive and they send their population. They send their population force. They send their population to many bunkers that they've built due to the nuclear paranoia, and especially the ww1. Nuclear paranoia becomes the main thing here. Nuclear paranoia would cause serious chaos. And the series of Caucasian offensives known as the last offensive would unload before the ending of the Treaty of Rome. In the Treaty of Rome, Serbia becomes an independent state ruled by the Habsburgs. Dubrovnik is given to Italy, along with Albania, but the fourth Roman Trebizond join finally, and the Turks gain some inner parts of Anatolia, but don't gain all of Anatolia. It's very bittersweet for the Turks. The Turks are granted cultural exemption, so they can't be killed according to this treaty. Meanwhile, Armenia and these guys just basically do a ceasefire. So nothing changes in the Caucasus. That's the Balkans dealt for now. Let's move into here where, according to the terms of the Treaty of Rome, the Entente takes some German land, but the Germans do demand that the Entente doesn't get all of German land, specifically Strasbourg and most of Trent, allowing for some resistance. But the one that is hurt the most is Spain. They lose Catalonia in return for Morocco. The Balearic Islands are kept though, and Italy is forcefully kicked out of Tripoli, which becomes the independent state of Tripolitania, in personal union with Tunis. The Tunisian king also appoints himself as the king of Algeria, establishing the three crowns of Tunis, establishing the Maghrebi alliance, establishing the Empire of the Maghreb. Along with that, the Hashemite Caliphate demands that all of Egyptian land should be returned, and basically nothing would change in Africa, well, except for Ethiopia annexing Djibouti, and of course with the 20th century comes in minor neutral power abuses. This episode's neutral power abuse is the annexation of Kuwait and Oman into the Hashemite Caliphate. Even though they wanted to be free, they had zero problem with not being free. As these states had a really good relations, and I guess they were going to be really loyal due to the idea of Dar al-Islam. This would become very advantageous. Meanwhile, Italy, while gaining some economic territories, would lose Tripoli, which would be a massive humiliation, but would keep the rest of its colonies along with Somaliland to appease the Italians into accepting this evil idea. Italy doesn't has just Somalia now. In Africa, these two, the Niger and peace treaty, nothing really changes. They just meanwhile Cameroon is annexed into. Meanwhile, Cameroon is split between French Guinea, the Guineas Republic, and Nigeria, which gains this south, and the central half, which goes to Canaan, into the Canaanite Empire, ruled by Idi Amin. Luckily, in this timeline, he isn't that dictatorial, so, and because the French would literally, one time he was dictator, and when he was a dictator, the French would just say, "Stop eating people, please," or we attack with guns. So yeah. So yep, African peace treaty looks basically the same. While nothing else changes in Africa, the rest of the borders are kept the same because of a worldwide coalition against the Soviets. The peace treaty, United States annexes all of Canada, while except for Quebec, which becomes independent, and Nova Scotia, same with Nova Scotia. this allows for Saudi Arabia to become not Saudi Arabia. The South of Saudi is a powerful dynasty in the Hashemite Caliphate, but it is not the ruling leadership. Meanwhile, Japan is stripped of its empire. And telegram is sent to the Asian alliance declaring that if they don't join the war on the side of the alliance, they're most likely gonna get their asses kicked anyway. They're going to get nuked in every way, so it's better to join a version of the world where the commies don't, in an anti-commie world. In a world where commies don't rule, this faction would become the coalition of nations, becoming the most powerful alliance on the planet, de jure, of course. The Soviets are now stuck in a situation that Trotsky would have caused tens of years before, but Stalin tried to not happen. And with this, our doors are opened in Central Asia as the World Coalition fights back against the commies who have invaded them in their utopian ideals. And the World Coalition is there to stop the commies. With the world now united against the communists, all communist parties are shut down as neutral countries do want to join this alliance, as many fear that communists will destroy the world. The communists start noticing a pattern. A communist nuke is sent to Mecca and Medina, and Jeddah. Along with that, an escort is carried where Jesus' tomb, and Jesus' tomb and many Islamic holy artifacts, both Abrahamic holy artifacts, are carried out. But this causes nukes from a lot of countries. The Soviets retaliate. Eventually, this turns into an unholy war, and the last message of every country is for humanity. Even though as they're basically making humanity go extinct. Footage of nuclear explosion. There is no hope. Yep, with